Hello, wonderful patrons. This episode. Oh, I didn't close the window. Hold on. Yeah, boy, this is such a seat in my pants show, huh? There we go. Now you don't get any car noise. This is the episode where I am going to secretly record the show at a friend's house. Now, you're watching the video version. You're probably saying, "This is your house, Bear Claw Billy. What gives?" And of course, gimmicks don't start until housekeeping is out of the way. Granted, I did do the graveyard episode before the gimmick ever started, but it's pretty tough to secretly record a podcast at a friend's house. So, I don't know how it's going to go. We'll find out. But we're starting here, and then there's going to be a cut, and then suddenly we're over there. So, we'll see how it goes. Let me think of what I'm going to say to start off here. I'm nervous. I'm going to be completely honest with you. Behind the scenes, I'm nervous. I don't know how this is going to go. Let me think of a beginning to kick things off here. This is probably my most unethical episode, but if you want to cancel me, it's going to cost you $3,000. And this is where the theme song goes. Let me try to get more comfortable here. It's a lot brighter. Oh, probably because I'm recording in the middle of the day instead of in the evening. You're listening to Fix My Car Cast, hosted by Bear Claw Billy, and this is episode 68. Comedian and musician Keith Hebert will jump out from behind the couch later. But first, housekeeping. I messed up. You gotta knock, then you say housekeeping. Oh boy. Housekeeping. There, same time. This is the show where you pick what I say and how I say it. Pick a topic or prompt by donating to the GoFundMe, and vote on the gimmick by joining my Patreon for just $1 a month. Join at the $5 or higher level and also get bonus episodes and behind-the-scenes footage. Links are in the description. Also down there, merch. Get yourself some merch. Get 50 Fix My Car Cast stickers, put them all over your local police station, and see what happens. No new donors this week. The total raised for paying off my car repair debt is still holding at $1,301. Also, when we get to $2,000, we unlock an automatic show gimmick, which is I will watch all the Fast and Furious movies back to back and then record my podcast at the end. Fun fact, did you know that this whole podcast disappears when we hit $3,000? I know, you'd think I'd want a chronicle of how talented I am to stand for all time. But I just need money right now. Sorry. Hey, do you like the theme song? No? Well, if you make a donation of $50 or more, in addition to picking an episode topic, you get to change one thing about the theme song forever. Unless somebody else changes it back. Want me to perform it live, even though I can barely play an instrument? $50 and I'll ruin this thing. Go listen to the one where I had to play piano. It's something. It's technically piano. No new patrons this week. Hey, did you know we don't have a single patron named Nate? Weird. If any person named Nate or Nathan or Nat or Natalie or Natasha or Natural Light joins my Patreon by the time the next episode is recorded, I will title that episode Abstinence is the Only Way, regardless of the episode topic. Come on, Nates. Wait until marriage. Now it's time for a topic suggestion. I'll suggest topics I think I could easily talk about for a whole episode, though admittedly, I think the show's more fun when it's something I'm completely clueless about. So something I could talk about is scented candles. Yep. Sponsor an episode today. A reminder, my new episode. There's a new episode every week. You know that. As a reminder, my new album, Yeethalog, is out on all kinds of streaming services, so please go check it out, leave a review, tell your friends, etc., etc. I've been getting a lot of feedback on how relaxing it is, and I'm pleased as punch, because that's what I was going for. Check the links in the description for a great album to fall asleep to. Checking in on the best city in the world, based on which city listened to the last episode the most. And once again, we've got a tie between the loyal listeners of Biddeford, Maine and Westbrook, Maine. Thanks for checking me out every week. Ties are broken by whichever city listened to the most episodes. And our big winner is Biddeford, Maine. Congratulations, Biddeford, Maine. You cannot be stopped. You're like the train from that Tony Scott movie, Domino. Let it be known that your Jackson Square, Jazz Museum, and French Quarter are the best in the world for 7 days. Last episode, I had to talk about Mott while doing it like a Civil War documentary. You can see video of me improvising about battle conditions while pointing to which parts of the Mott Wikipedia page I'm using for inspiration over on Patreon. Also, head over to Patreon for a bonus episode where I talk about a monkey sex movie. By the way, shout out to friend of the show Dracula, who is currently being portrayed by none other than Nicolas Cage in the new biopic Renfield. I don't love that they seem to portray him as a bad guy, as I find him to be a kind and gentle sweetie who's maybe not the best at keeping in touch, but that doesn't make him evil. Anyway, I don't usually reveal the bonus episode topics in advance, but when you're done listening to this, pop on over to Patreon for a detailed review of the movie Renfield. Okay, let's talk next week's gimmick poll. These are your choices for next week's episode gimmick. And by the way, next week is episode 69, so there's a theme here. The gimmicks are: 1. Incorporate 10 Bryan Adams lyrics, and I know maybe 2 of his songs. Number 2, do it like a moon landing broadcast, which happened, what year? 1969, that's right. Number 3, do a San Dimas accent. If you're not familiar with a San Dimas accent, perhaps you're familiar with the Wild Stallions, Bill S. Preston Esquire and Ted Theodore Logan. Their voice, you know? And number 4, perform tandem oral sex. No, I'm just kidding. The fourth option is simply nice. Let's review. Number 1, incorporate 10 Bryan Adams lyrics. Number 2, do it like a moon landing broadcast. Number 3, do a San Dimas accent. And number 4, nice. Remember that any gimmick that gets just a single vote is eligible for a second chance in 6 weeks. Be sure to vote over on Patreon. The poll closes Thursday, April 27th at noon Eastern America time. All right, time for today's gimmick, which is record it secretly at a friend's house. Now, ground rules, I need to fill at least 15 minutes, and if I get caught at any point, I have to try again at a different friend's house. That's really going to mess me up. Of course, right now, I'm at my own house because gimmicks don't start until housekeeping is out of the way in case any of them prevent me from sharing vital information. But now, we are entering my friend's house. From this point on, gimmicks are active and everything is improvised. We do not have a topic sponsor today, but what I usually do, I heard a noise. Oh, it's a cat. Oh, good. You're getting 2 gimmicks for the price of 1. So I was originally going to record in the bathroom and pass it off as a phone call. But there's a cat who I think was locked up here on purpose. So my plans have kind of gone sideways, but I have to hit 15 minutes. That's part of the requirement. So normally when we don't have a topic sponsor, what I do is I I hit a random page on Wikipedia, but I don't actually know what the Wi-Fi password is at my friend's house. It's never come up. We usually hang out in the garage, and I don't think there's Wi-Fi out there. I'm not actually sure. I've never asked. It's kind of funny. So my friend, let's see, he certainly didn't agree to let me record in his house. We have not discussed what like an alias for him would be. I guess I'll come up with one right now. Dr. Ouch. So we're secretly live from Dr. Ouch's house. So because I don't have a topic, because I don't have any way to look at Wikipedia right now, there is actually a laptop in here. Also, if you're watching the video version, the reason I'm keeping things framed so close is like, you know, he didn't agree to this, so I don't want to be like showing off a room of his home. So what I decided to do was, on my way up here for this secret mission, I grabbed a random book off of a bookshelf on the way up, and I was like, whatever book I got, that'll be the topic. That's where we'll go. That'll be the jumping off point. Again, I am keeping a close eye on the time, and I am keeping a close eye on either door, because this needs to sound like a phone call. If I get real quiet, I apologize. So I'm also being very careful not to show anything in the room because this friend of mine is actually an artist, so I don't want like a piece that's not done to get out yet. But today's topic, since we didn't have any sponsors, but good news, on my way over here I found out we have 2 new sponsors, but we'll get into that later. Today's topic is this random book I grabbed off a random shelf. It is The Talisman by Stephen King and Peter Straub. Interesting. All right. Well, I'm gonna read what this is about on the back. It is thick. It is a doorstop Stephen King. The Talisman. You are about to take a journey, a terrifying trip across a nightmare America. That doesn't roll off the tongue. Filled with monsters beyond anything ever imagined before. A journey into the dark heart of horror. Thank you, Garth Marenghi. No, I shouldn't be mean to Stephen King. He was nice enough to come on our show and give an interview. Go look for that one. Thank you for joining us, Stephen King. Go check that out. Okay, so The Talisman. So that let me go through that again. You are about to take a journey, a terrifying trip across a nightmare America. A nightmare America, nightmare America, a nightmare America. I'm sorry, just the way that rolls off the tongue. It's like clunky as a sentence, but great as a hook for like a Fatboy Slim Big Beat song. A nightmare America, nightmare America. I may have just written a song here, like genuinely. By the way, check out my album Ethologue. 12 tracks, 70 minutes. Perfect for relaxing, perfect for falling asleep, perfect for doing weed. All right, let's see what the critic quotes on this thing are. A classic, a journey to rival the greatest adventure stories ever told, rare and dazzling, says the New York Daily News, and extraordinary, makes your hair stand on end, Washington Post. Well, to do that, I just gotta shake my hair out a little bit. All right, let's take a peek inside this thing for inspiration. Again, the lighting is not great in here, which I'll pretend I did that intentionally. Random page, let's get some improvised inspiration. Countries in Central America: Nicaragua, Honduras, Guatemala, Costa Rica. Even when he was so tired, he finally had to lie down and curl into a ball on the floor, using his knapsack as a pillow. Knapsack as a pillow. All right, cool. So we're going to talk about pillows. Surprise, it's a pillow episode. I did want to talk about this. I will talk about pillows, the scariest thing in Stephen King and Peter Straub's The Talisman. Okay, I have like 400 pillows on my bed, and I make them into weird shapes that I then squeeze myself into. I sleep the wrong way on my bed. Like, there's the head of the bed and the foot of the bed. I turn sideways. I curl up like a dog at the end. And the reason for that is I am huge. If you've only ever listened to the show and never seen any video of me, guess what? I'm enormous. And that means I put dents in mattresses. I know that you can get mattresses that are made for heavier folks, but they cost more. And what am I, made of money? No, I'm made of fat. And so I sleep at the foot of the bed so that when it makes a little divot, it doesn't make it weird when I have a guest in the bed. Because then we roll bloop right into the center like a little taco. And they go, my God, you need to get a new mattress. And I'm like, well, every mattress I buy gets this divot within a year. So what are my options? And by the way, when I say buy mattress, half of my mattresses have been used or somebody was getting rid of a mattress and I had to get it. And it's interesting that we're on the topic of sleep because the room that I'm talking to you in right now, I've slept in this room several times. So my buddy, Dr. Ouch, we get together to watch The Last Drive-In with Joe Bob Briggs. And what we do is so it airs on Shudder, and it's basically like, classic horror host stuff like Elvira, or people don't really count Mystery Science Theater, but whatever, it's in a similar vein. So yeah, it's just like a little horror double feature show, and it goes out live on Fridays. And as I'm recording this, the first episode of this season is about to pop off. And because I am on the East Coast, because I live in Columbus, Ohio, Maine, so that starts at 9 and then goes until like 1 or 2 in the morning. Sometimes 3, sometimes they show more movies. And so to watch this show, I am simply too sleepy to drive. So I'm coming to you from where I'm crashing tonight, in this very room, with the ornery cat, who thankfully has fucked off. But I am well aware that this cat is very ornery. This cat also did not ask to be on my show, so I should give her a nickname too. Beelzecat. She's not so bad. She just gets a little grumpy with guests. I'm about at the halfway point on this, and I will now reveal that I was really worried that I would not be able to pull this off, but when I showed up, apparently there is a hockey game tonight, and Dr. Ouch is a fan of hockey. Specifically the Bruins. I think it's a playoff game. I don't actually know what a playoff game even means. It's one of the big ones. So I feel like, I hope you don't feel like I've kind of cheated at the assignment. It was more that I showed up stressed as all get out, because I got a lot going on in my life all the time, forever. But yeah, I showed up, and it's like, oh, we're watching the game, and I was like, whew. So they're all just going to be there watching the game. So that certainly saves me on things. So yeah, I'm gonna sleep on this futon. I feel like I can show you the futon, and that's not a horrible violation. Though frankly, secretly recording a podcast in someone's home, that's a little bit of a violation, right? I haven't decided if I'm gonna tell him once I'm done recording, or tell him once it airs. I don't know. I feel like maybe I'll like let the audio one go up, but before the video one goes out, I might be like, hey, is this okay? But again, like, I'm trying to keep the angles vague here. I didn't want to talk about the process this whole time. Let me tell you what, Dr. Ouch has just every action figure in the world. And so it's kind of fun, but also kind of creepy to sleep in this space. There's a lot of creepy clowns, but like literally name a thing, it's here. We've got Star Trek, we've got Alien, we've got all the Marvel. The entire Fantastic Four is represented multiple times over, as is Spider-Man, the X-Men, I think that's Venom, I think that's the Juggernaut. It's kind of dark in here, so it's hard to tell. By my calculations, I'm at the 10-minute mark, so 5 more minutes of this, and then we're going to wind it down, because, let's face it, this isn't normal. I'm not normal. Why did I do this? Shall we read more from our friend Stephen King? All right, we got friend of the show Dracula mentioned up top, and we got friend of the show Stephen King in here. Let's see what this book is. Is it any good? Buddy Parkin's memory was more accurate than he imagined. His memory was more accurate than he imagined. That's interesting. Friends? All right. So I've sneezed in Dr. Ouch's house. And I'm sure he appreciates that. I've already forgotten what I just said. I don't remember what I just said. Ugh, isn't memory weird like that? Wait, I remember what I just said. His memory was better than he imagined. Huh, interesting. Look over there real quick. Okay, so, how can your memory be better than you imagine? So your memory... So you think you have a bad memory, but there's more in there than you might have... Well, you know what? That's a bad line. Let's find another one. Let's get some inspiration. Remember, boys, remember, let us pray. Because it wouldn't be a Stephen King book if there wasn't some knocking of the church in there. Which, I'm all for knocking a good church. Not in a metaphorical way. Like, just like, kick them around, see what happens. I mean, you got to test the foundation of the church, right? Yeah, Stephen King. There was going to be an episode of the show I was going to read random lines from Stephen King's It. But I was a little worried because I've heard there are some scenes in that book that maybe you don't want to grab at random when you're doing an improv thing. I hear it's a good book, but there's always some hey, what's this about, Stephen? In a lot of Stephen King books. Though in fairness, I haven't read very many. What's the one I just read that I did not like? Oh, Needful Things. No offense to Mr. King. I think, conceptually it was kind of interesting, but it kind of didn't end very well. Though I think that's what people say about a lot of Stephen King stories. Again, I haven't read much. I read Night Shift recently, and I really enjoyed it. I don't know if I've talked about this on the regular show or the bonus episodes, but go check out the bonus episodes because I feel like that's where the personal stuff lies. By the way, if you are used to the camera on a tripod, if you watch the video versions, sorry that this is handheld, but what are my options? I'm in someone else's house. I'm mostly just glad I don't have to whisper because everybody's watching the game. I really feel like I'm getting away with something here. I'm getting off scot-free. Okay, well, the talisman. I'm going to do one more roll because I got about 2 more minutes to fill. Let's see what's going down. Please don't be something inappropriate and horrible. Now listen, and I'll give you some advice you won't find in the Book of Good Farming, the captain said. The Book of Good Farming. Friends, I don't know anything about plants. I have so many friends who are really good with plants, and I just... I don't know what part of me just does not want to be responsible for anything that can die, if that makes sense. And, I've had so many people say, what about friends and family? Well, yeah, of course, I'm not, fully responsible for them, though. I feel like it's, it's if I have I'm a good person, I'm a helpful person. I always try to help all my friends whenever I can, sometimes at the expense of my own energies. But you know what? Superman doesn't get a day off. Anyway, you're free to analyze my psyche when I compare myself to Superman. Which, by the way, there's probably an action figure of him in here somewhere. Oh, Superman! Oh, Superman, which is the name of a song. I forget the name of the artist, but it's an early electronic track. I don't actually see Superman up here. I mean, he's the one everybody knows, so he's not interesting, right? I'm just kidding. I'm a huge Superman fan, which I think I revealed on a bonus episode. Oh, there's an Elvira action figure. Oh, that's really cool. All right, well... where was I going? Something about Superman and my friends. Oh, yeah, plants, pets, children. I don't want these things, but I have perfect auntie energy. If you have kids and you want me to entertain them for an hour, I will do that. But when I'm done, they're yours. Need me to cat sit? Can do, but after 3 days, hey, this is yours. I'm getting out of here. Plants, I've never plant sat. I probably sat on a few plants. Oh, boo, we can't go out on that. But yeah, I know nothing about farming. It's funny that one of my nearest and dearest people, they are they're really good at gardening and farming, and I'm just not good at that stuff at all. I'm more of a comedy clown person, and then I realized, oh, we're Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy. Again, there may be action figures of them up here. I don't know though. It's very dark. I see something black and red over there. That could be Harley. Anyway, thank you for this little experiment in violating a friend's trust. If there's an aftermath from this, I will tell you all about it in the next episode. I did pick Dr. Ouch's place specifically because I felt like he would be the chillest about it. I did have some other friends in mind, and of course I did have the rule that if I got caught while doing this, that I had to pick another friend's house. I couldn't just start over here. So I'm over the 15-minute mark, and I'm going to wrap this thing up because I hear a door slamming. So, as always, get out of the house! Get out of the house!